This is an informational video on actually replacing the correct hardware in the correct places on this vehicle. A lot of people put the rubbers in the wrong places for the hardware kits and or don't know it needs a hardware kit. Well, these calipers here, they do need a hardware kit, and I'll show you guys the part number on that through Dorman. It's HW5563, and it comes with both sides in the kit. You get the rubbers and the spacers, sliders, and the retaining clip for the back of the rear pad. If your caliper is leaking, you're gonna need this kit. It's the Dorman D35885. Comes with the internal rubber seal and the outside rubber boot. For the slider pins, most of the time are guide pins. They are bad. This is your part number, H5004 from Duralast. You get 2 pins in each package. One set does one side caliper. So if you do both, you're going to need 2 sets of these. One set of these, and you would need 2 sets of these to do both sides. And if your pistons are too rusted, you can actually order new pistons also. As long as your bore in the caliper isn't bad, you can replace it. This caliper, this car sat for approximately 3 years in a field. Done a lot of work to it. I've already loosened up the Allen 3/8 Allen head. They go back here. You loosen them. I've already loosened them. They were pretty tight the first time because these actually pins are bent. I'll show you. And the bottom one's down here. Just put it in there. Put a breaker bar on this and break it loose till you get them out. I've cleaned these up with a wire wheel already once to make it a little easier on the video and taking it out. And it comes all the way through to the front and spins. So if it's rusty there, it'll hold it up, bind it up. They're only coming out this easy because I've already wire wheeled these and put them back in. Slides completely out. Sometimes your spacer, the chrome spacer, will stick to the head of the bolt. If you're replacing it, don't worry about them. And even the Allen gets stripped. So there's the one from the bottom. I'm going to take the top one out. I can do it with my hand because I've already loosened these up and wired them. So you pull those out. I'll show you that this one's actually, I don't know if you can see it's bent when I'm rolling it, but it's definitely bent and out of shape. I believe this one too, a little bit. So we'll be replacing those with 2 new ones. Nice and new. Set these off to the side. You're going to need those. You're going to need this brake lube. Then you're going to need your spacers, the 2 big rubbers, and the 2 small rubbers. And then this will go on the back of your brake pad if your brake pads don't come with it. Some of them do come with this clip already pre-riveted on and or optional. Okay, so that's for that part of it. So now when you go to take this caliper off, once you take them 2 slide pin guide pins out, you pull back on it. I've already freed this all up. You're gonna probably have an issue trying to get this out, so you may need a flat blade screwdriver, a bigger one. This is magnetic, so it's picking up a bunch of my rust out the driveway. So you can put it in here. If you're not trying to replace the rotors, you can use the rotor as pry and free it up there, and on the bottom kind of bring it up, and it'll eventually come out of there. The pads are probably so wore down that they're sticking to the rotor. So once you do that, then you can take this caliper off. I'm sorry if my videos, the sun is bright out here today. Take the caliper off like so. You can bring it up around the top and set it up here. What I've done already on this one is I've already removed the pads and cleaned the pads all up in the back a little bit, and the caliper where it's shining, I've cleaned all the contact points with a wire wheel to where the pads make contact for new lube. So that's your rear pad. It's got a back castle on it. It's that front pad. Sorry. And your rear pad clips in with that clip that comes with the kit. Pops out of that hole like this. Pull back on the top. See the clips? Two little teeth bite over top, and then it'll come out of that hole right there. So just pop it back. What was happening here is my cylinder was, the piston was froze. So I removed the piston, got it out of there, cleaned all the rust buildup was along the bottom section of the caliper from it sitting. I cleared it all off. I actually used the original internal gasket. Seal was still okay. And I cleaned all this with a wire wheel, and I put it back together, bled the brakes, because I wanted to make sure I didn't need a piston. I pressed the piston all the way in, all the way out to check for leaks. Hard hits on it a couple times with my pads in between here, and it wasn't leaking. So I just got the kit, which is this Dorman D35885, and your seal, once I clean it up a little bit more, will go over and you tap it into the housing here all the way around. Just tap it real lightly and it'll go on. But I'm gonna re-clean up that little bit of surface rust I collected over the few days of waiting on parts, and I'll get that taken care of. But I'm gonna show you guys how to install the actual hardware correctly with what we have going on right now. So what you do is you get your brake lube ready, and I'm doing this all one-handed, so I'm sorry if the camera goes out of view. Get a little bit of lube. Lube up the bigger of the O-rings. Just give it a nice run around on each side of it, both sides of the O-ring. Run it through your fingers. Doesn't have to be caked on there on this part of it all. Normally I'm just gonna step on my lubricant to get some more out. It's a little too much for that one. I'll grab the other one too, but I'll show you where this one goes. In the caliper right there in that big hole, just stick it in there. There's a casting in there. You want to clean all your old lube out of there and get it in there right. Make sure it's flush. You'll feel it when it gets in there. It'll groove its way into the slot. Just want to make sure it's in there right, so you're not wasting money. Push your finger in there and turn it a few times. You'll see when it gets set like that. It's set in there all the way around. Once you get that one in, go to the next one. Make sure you lube it up. Use the same lube you already got on your fingers. It's enough. Stick that new one in on the other side. It's be a little slippery, so just work with it. Get her lined up. Sorry about the camera. Trying to still get it lined up, but you get the concept. Get it lined up. Same thing with the little ones. Get some lube. Keep pushing too hard with my foot. Lube up that little one. He goes on the outside hole, not on the pin, on the outside hole. There's a Kincaid in there. Casting mark for it. Sometimes I normally take a little screwdriver or the pin itself at this point, and you can either go in through the front or slide it in through the back, however you prefer, and just kind of work it into the hole. But just don't rip the rubber. If it feels like you're binding against the rubber in any way, just get it lined up first in both sides. Put the rubber in both sides. In there. I'm trying to do this one-handed, I'm sorry guys. But I hope this is going to help, because I've seen a lot of videos and nobody's showing this part of putting these in. You just got to get it lined up. Get it in there circular. Same thing with that. Just make sure you clean it up and that you ain't got no leaks. And if you do, you can replace that piston. If you need the part number on that, just message me and I can give you the right part numbers for these pistons also. But yeah, like, subscribe, then you just reverse, put it back together. I hope this helps guys get their hardware correct, because I know a lot of people don't put them in here and you get a lot of play, and that's how when the pads bite, they smash against the bolt because there's nothing to back it, so it bends the bolts. So you end up, your best bet is to probably just replace everything you see here and you should have no issues. I'm not replacing the pads and the rotors right now. I'm waiting on those. I'm just doing this to help people out because I was looking around and I didn't see much. If you need any other help, just message me. Thank you.